Yeah, so the holes weren't so big, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you could put holes in the pool,
Yeah.
and then have like a
Good
fire.
afternoon, everybody.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our session today. We're hoping that we can just present, the new submission criteria for this year's Design Awards. And then we'll have some questions and answer session after. So welcome, everybody. I'm Stephanie, and Ryan is our other co-chair. So we're the co-chairs for the Design Awards this year. And then other people on the line are Julian Chen. She's in charge of our Student Awards. And Julia Fink is our AI Executive Vice President. She's also on the line. And Camilla Nicholas is our Assistant Director. She's the one you would contact if you have any questions about your submissions, or maybe if you need a clarification about a submission requirement. Anyway, so these are the people on the core committee. And then we want to say mahalo to our 2022 Design Awards sponsors, as you can see on the screen. Can everybody see my screen? I think they can.
Yep.
Okay, so just a reminder, some upcoming key dates are, of course, these submissions are due on Friday, May 27th. And then following that, the next thing you have to worry about is signing up to go to our in-person Design Awards Gala at the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Ho'okupu Center. And that will be held a little earlier this year, as you've already probably seen. That'll be on Friday evening, August 26th. Okay, so we'll just dive right into it. Figure we can just go through the submission packet, do a brief overview of what you already know, and then we'll try to elaborate more on the new requirements or the new additions we have to the Design Awards this year. So go through this. So the project categories and awards are as follows. You can submit an award or an entry for an award under one of these categories. So residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, interior architecture, and the unbuilt category. We also have the Distinctive Detail Award, and the new award we want to introduce this year is the Community Impact Award, which will go over the submission requirements a little later. So these 7 categories are juried by the AIA Honolulu Design Awards jury. And then the next set of awards you can, enter for are the Collaboration Awards, which are the USGBC Hawaii Sustainability Award, and then the Hawaii Energy Award for Excellence in Energy Efficient Design. These 2 awards are juried by, the first one, the USGBC one, is juried by USGBC Hawaii members, and then the Hawaii Energy Award is juried by the people from Hawaii Energy. And then the last awards that projects can win or be awarded are the Popular Choice Awards, which are People's Choice. Of course, that's the one where everybody, the AI members and the public, have 2 weeks to vote for their favorite projects. The Mayor's Choice Award, which is selected by the mayor, and the Hawaii Home and Remodeling Editor's Choice Award is selected by individuals at the Hawaii Home and Remodeling magazine. Award levels that are available. These award levels are for the juried awards. So these, these residential, commercial, these five. The distinctive detail and community impact award are just awards separate from these award levels. Just to, I guess, reiterate, the award of excellence requires a unanimous vote of the jury that the project excels in all aspects. So the jury has to, everyone on the jury has to agree that this project is excellent. And then the award of merit requires consensus from the jury that a project is deserving high quality work overall. And then honorable mention responds to notable achievements in one or more aspects of the project. Okay. So the judging criteria, each entry is judged and evaluated individually and not to be in competition with the other entries. The jury will be directed to the judging criteria as noted in this submission packet or information packet. So if you want to know how your projects will be jury or judged, you can go down to each of the submission requirement pages and read the judging criteria. And then new for 2022, we are incorporating the AIA framework for design excellence into our judging criteria, which we will also go over a little bit after this. So that's something that's new for the design awards this year. And then the jury for this year has been announced. I believe it was in a flash that Camilla had sent out. So for the membership awards, the jurors are Mayumi Hardao, Brian Strawn, and Polly Tice. Those three jurors are all Hawaii residents, and two of which are part of the AIA Honolulu chapter. And then our last two jurors are from out of state, from other AIA chapters. So Derek Choi, he's from the AIA Boston Society for Architecture chapter. He's a senior associate at Gensler, Boston. And then Jennifer Park is our last year from out of state. She's with AIA Chicago, and she's a principal at Brennan School in Lynch. Okay, so for the most part. And now I hand it over to Ryan for the submission requirements.
All right, thanks, Steph. So I'm sure everyone here is familiar with the submission requirements, but we'll just kind of run through it really quick again. So the first portion of your submission is basically your project facts. When you submit your project online, you're just giving the basic facts for your project. The overview is a 400-word max overview of your project. It's a project narrative write-up. I'm not sure if are we showing on the screen or no? And the People's Choice Award write-up is at 50-word max. So the new item this year that Stephanie mentioned was the AIA Framework for Design Excellence. So if you go to this PDF, you can click directly onto the link, or you could actually just go to the, if you just Google AIA Framework for Design Excellence, it'll take you to the page. Do you want to click on it, Steph? Or so if you can see. So what it is, basically, for those of you not familiar with the framework for design, AIA came up with 10 guiding principles that they're calling to just provide architects a toolkit to provide design excellence in the 21st century is what they're calling it. And they basically want the profession to kind of broaden our horizons and think in a more holistic purpose of what we do as architects and how we have that power to harness good design to kind of help society. And so kind of just thinking more broadly across the spectrum. They want us to kind of go away from just thinking of our projects as a standalone item, and how does it relate to different aspects within various pieces. So like you can see here, there's 10 items here, and if you kind of scroll, they're kind of well defined. Kind of scroll up a little bit to the first one. So there, so like for instance, design for integration, design for equitable communities, design for ecosystems. So if you actually go and click on each of these, it'll take you further down into what each one kind of targets, and a lot of it is what we already do. So I think it's just it's a good reminder for us to think more holistically on the projects that we produce and how it affects the surrounding communities, sustainability, carbon neutrality. So what we want to do this year is, we know this is a new item, so we didn't want to burden everybody with trying to figure out how their designs or their projects can confer to all 10. So what we decided was that if everybody could just provide like a 200-word max write-up on one of the items and how your project pertains to that particular item. So you could choose any one of the 10 features. And like I said, a lot of it is what we do. One of them is like water, water conservation. So I mean, it's stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis. So it should be a pretty easy fact. So the judges are they're gonna keep the framework for design excellence in the back of their minds as they're reviewing all of the submissions, but they're not going to be judging each project solely based on those 10 principles. So you don't have to really worry about if you're hitting on all the points, but it's just something that as we start to integrate this more into, I think each year we're probably going to be a little more robust in how we integrate into this. But for this first coming year, we thought this was a nice kind of introduction into it, is by just requiring like one aspect. And so it's an additional 200-word max write up on top of the general narrative that we've been doing every year. So we can have Q&A after about that. What's next? So besides the write-up, just going through the rest of the submissions, everyone has a 19-page max limit that they can incorporate drawings, diagrams, plans to just convey your design process, the design thinking that would behind it. I know a lot of times, just sitting in a lot of the past jury sessions, a lot of them are very interested in how the project got to be where it ended up at. So I think it is, it's great to show the process of the design that it went through. Some examples are if it's an interior renovation project or an adaptive reuse of something, they were really keen on seeing before and after photos. Like, what did the project look like before your project, and then as opposed to just showing all finished outcomes. So I think that was something that was a key takeaway that I saw from things like that. And then besides those 19 pages, you're going to have your 4 publicity page images, which is what we can use for advertising the projects online and whatnot. So you pick your 4 best shots, and then we'll pick one of those to use on the websites and whatnot in the literature. And then we have a really exciting new award this year. It's called the Community Impact Award. And I'll let Jules talk a little bit about it, since she's the brainchild behind this.
Definitely not the brainchild, but okay. So hi everyone. We're super excited to announce this new award. And I think as a committee, we've been talking about it for quite some time, and we're finally executing it. And I think the AIA framework helped put this all actually integrated all together, like Ryan said. So, we feel it's pretty important as designers of the community to highlight and reward projects that are designed to be inclusive for everyone and overall uplift the entire community for generations to come. This award is unique in itself because it actually relies on the experiences and input of the end users. So it requires a project narrative from the firm, which is 500 words. We did bullet point kind of 4 questions that we would like them to hit. And then an additional 2 testimonies from any end user. It could be a client and, a member of the community. So their testimonies will be 500 words max each, and they can actually provide their own additional photographs. So 2 photographs. And I guess the idea behind that was like, we see professional photos like all the time, but it would actually bring it closer to home if they actually showed these spaces in use by the community. So they can also provide that. And all of these numbered questions that we provided are talking points that they can focus on. But yeah, we're really excited. We hope that people will submit for this.
Yeah, thanks, Jules. Yeah, so I think we were really excited about this category because we talked about, doing great design is one thing, but at the end of the day, we're basically, what are we tasked with doing? We're creating a better community. And I think that this is a great way to showcase projects and how it actually impacts the people and the users and the community around it. I think hopefully we get a lot of good submissions this year in this category. So we're excited about that one. So again, we have the USGBC Sustainability Award, as well as the Hawaii Energy Award for Excellence in Energy Efficient Design. So those are the same awards that we've had previously. So those haven't really changed much from the past years. And then basically, if anyone has any questions regarding the submission process or using Cadmium, we have Camilla on, and she's the guru on that. So we can, during the Q&A session, if anyone has any questions or issues they've been running into just submitting or getting their submissions up and running, we can kind of walk you through any questions you might have on that one. And then now I just want to kind of end my portion with just some general submission tips that I've seen over the years. Steph and I have been doing this for 2 years now, so it's our 3rd year. So we've been fortunate enough to sit in on all the jury days and kind of just listen like a fly on the wall to see what the various juries are noticing and what they focus upon, and just trying to help everyone out here. But just be mindful of the chosen project categories. There was a couple times when people either submitted under the wrong project category or the jurors felt like it didn't fit the particular category. So I think that there was an instance where they're like, wow, we probably would have given this one an award maybe, but doesn't feel like it fits. So this year, for 2022, we're allowing the jury to unanimously decide to move a project into a more appropriate category so that this issue doesn't happen again. So if the jury feels like it doesn't really fit in the category it's submitted into, they can move it into a different category and hopefully give that an award in that category. If your entries are being submitted for a Distinctive Detail Award or the Community Impact Award, you have to make that known when you're doing your submittal process, or else it's not going to be automatically a given that those submissions are being submitted under those categories. So you got to make sure that it's clear that those are the ones you're going for. Another common theme that we've seen over the years is a lot of the projects didn't really have a lot of site context, information and drawings such as site plans, maybe neighborhood photos. A lot of projects kind of just focused on the building kind of in a bubble. And a lot of the comments we've heard is that it would be nice to see how the building kind of relates to its context, or even a site plan. And a lot of projects maybe just submit like building plans. So they kind of wanted to see how the building integrated into the bigger scheme of things. Like I mentioned earlier, before and after photos, especially on renovation projects, would be really great. I know we've heard that many times. Graphics and conciseness matters. The jury is reviewing a lot of projects and they're doing this on their own, on their free time. So just human nature is that they're going to kind of go through the projects in a very concise manner. So you want to get your point across really quickly. So I think having really nice graphics that are clean, simple, and easy to read are really a helpful thing. We've seen some projects where it's hard to, either there's too much text, too much information, or people cramming too many items onto one sheet, because we have the 20-page limit, so they're trying to cram like 40 sheets worth onto 20, and I think it just gets in the way and actually detracts from the jury. They get kind of lose their attention span. So I think it's a key thing to kind of less is more sometimes. So keep that in mind. I think that's about all I have on my end. I don't know, Steph, what else do we got?
I think you covered most of it. I think I just want to add before we do the Q&A that if anybody wants to see previous award-winning submissions, they can email Camilla and she will happily share them with you. But if there's nothing else from anyone on the committee that's here today, we can just jump into the Q&A. Okay. Fire away.
I found there's only one page dedicated to the text. I find it a little bit difficult to fit all this information on one page, especially because it's a letterhead and you have 1 inch all around margin. So there's not much space there to fit the text.
Yeah, some submissions in the past have elaborated more on the subsequent sheets. So it's almost like you let's say your second sheet is your site plan. You can actually kind of elaborate on the site plan with like a little text blurb that explains some things that you want to explain, and then you can even do that with each of the images of your project. You could have like a little blurb that helps. So I think that's one way you can kind of do it in a nice way without overloading too much information, especially on the very beginning of your submission. Kind of might be detrimental. So I think that's what we've seen in the past is a way to get more information. We've seen diagram sheets with text narrations, stuff like that.
Right.
Now these
And
20
then,
pages, do they include 4 photographs or are the 4 photographs beside the 20 pages? In other words, is this document supposed to be filled with drawing, diagrams, plus 4 photographs, or are the 4 photographs included in those 20 pages?
They are.
it can be both.
Yeah, those 4 photographs are separate. Those are for use on the website and whatnot. So most submissions will utilize the last 19 pages for photographs. It's a mixture of photographs, plans, diagrams. So some projects only show photographs. So it'd be like the first write-up page and then basically all photographs after. So you could have 19, or you can put 3 images on one sheet. So it's kind of up to you how you want to disperse throughout. But it's basically, again, just holding to that 20-page. But like I said, we've seen some that have 10 images on one sheet, and it gets a little bit too hard to read because the images are so small, and it just gets kind of too much information. So I think there's definitely power in just having very simple and kind of to the point each page. I think it's very helpful.
Are the photographs contained within that 1 inch margin all around the same throughout the document, or can they go margin to margin?
Camilla, I don't believe there's a margin requirement, right? You could go full bleed.
Yeah. On the images, you can go bleed.
Yeah, you can go full page.
You're not going to get disqualified.
I think, yeah.
And
I
about
think
the
it's
drawing,
just
the same?
the text page. Yeah.
Yeah.
About the drawing, are the same? Can you go beyond the
Yes.
full sheets?
It's basically, yeah, I mean, we're just submitting a PDF that people are going to open. So if you want to use a full entire sheet, feel free.
Oh, okay, good.
Right. I think that margin requirement is really only for the write-up sheet, the text one.
May I ask a few questions?
Yes, sure.
On the Framework for Design Excellence categories, I'm a little fuzzy on a couple of them, such as integration and discovery, what is wanted there. And in addition, Mr. Sullivan, you said one category. The write-up says one or more categories. Which do you prefer?
Did we word it that way? One or more?
Yeah.
More. So yeah, you're right. I think what we want to do is we have a minimum of one. If you so happen to want to hit all 10, I mean, it's more power to you, or maybe highlight 2 or 3. But again, a lot of them are overlaps from just what we do for good design. So I don't know if Steph, you have the website handy again. If you click on, for instance, that design for integration, you click on that, it'll take you down, and then there's a whole like list. So it kind of starts to break it down. There's an initial little write-up here that gives you some examples, and then if you kind of go down again, it gives you more like a focused topic, high impact. If you can only do a few things, what would it be? And it gives you some examples there. So you can see here that, like, for instance, this one is very kind of, this is probably the most vague one. And basically it says like integrated design process that respects and values multiple viewpoints, design a building to lift the spirits and delight the senses. So, I mean, you can see how you could kind of fit right into a lot of these pretty easily. And yeah, so you're right. If you want to submit for, I mean, if you want to write a couple more, but the problem is the 200-page max. So, I mean, the 200-word max.
Yes, 200
so
words.
If you're trying to do too much, you're gonna have to do like a very short blurb for each one.
Okay, we're working on an SFR renovation, and I've looked at a couple residence applications, and they have Hawaiian names, but we were thinking of just titling it Lihue renovation, Lihue SFR renovation. Is that okay?
Yes,
To just
for sure.
not come up with a nice name for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As long as there are no architect or firm names in it,
Yeah, no, I understand that.
then you can name it what you want. Yeah.
Okay, and
Right.
the
And then, oh, sorry, I was just going to say, if your award is an award, then we'll use that name in the publications.
okay. So the framework and the project narrative should appear in 2 places. One is the first page of the 20-page PDF, and the other is in the forms where they're indicated. Is that correct? Because it says use the exact same language from the AIA framework. So we
Yeah, so
shouldn't.
it's basically to simplify it for you. You do the write-up. You don't have to use the same, but most, I think like 99% of people do kind of copy and paste it onto that first page.
Okay.
And it's only because in the jury process, it's easier for them. I think Ryan and Steph will tell if they have it more combined in one place.
Okay. Would a Google Earth photo, for example, be okay for the physical context?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like basically however you want to portray your project, and any information you want to show is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, the 4 publicity photos can be the same as 4 of the photos from the 20-page PDF.
Yes.
Okay.
Just probably your 4 favorite that you are
Yeah.
most happy with, so that we would use that.
Those 4, we're going to pick 1 or more of those for the design awards, the booklet in the Hawaii Business Magazine, and for the People's Choice Award, and for the website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you say the programmatic diagrams are encouraged, could you elaborate on that a little bit?
I think that's just our way of saying just project diagrams. I think if you have any way of explaining your project in a simplistic way, so usually we use diagrams, right, to kind of convey those ideas really quickly to somebody, especially if you're not there to, talk to them personally. How would you want to convey the ideas behind your design? So it could be programmatic, it could be just standard diagrams, it could be a site diagram.
Yeah, I guess I was a little hung up on the word programmatic. Okay,
Yeah. No.
thank you.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the jury review process like? Are they gathered in the room? How do they go through all the entries?
So they are given the PDFs ahead of time individually, and they are asked to go through each one on their own time and kind of make notes. And then we come to it's going to be a virtual meeting this year, especially with the out-of-state jurors. So it's like a Zoom meeting just like this, and they all come together after reviewing it on their own, and then they basically kind of it's usually up to each jury group on how they want to format the meeting, but most times they kind of just go down the line of each submission and just talk about it, and then each group kind of has their own procedure on how they want to decide, or do they want to like kind of come back to a secondary list or whatnot. But it's a virtual meeting after they've already reviewed it individually.
Right, and then
Yeah.
in the last couple of years we've done it, or that Ryan and I have been the co-chairs, we've just kind of, because there's so many submissions, in the beginning, we just kind of go through the list and we ask them if they want to talk about the project or not. And if they don't, then that's it. They don't talk about it anymore. Yeah, and then after that, we go, like Ryan said, we go through the second round and they discuss the project so that at the end, they decide what award level each project deserves.
Yeah, but there's no set procedure as far as the jury day. It's kind of a loose outline schedule, but it's again up to the group on how they want to achieve.
And then just to reiterate, while we do have a lot of project categories, that doesn't necessarily mean there will be an award for each one. It's really up to the jury if they want to award a project an award. But the collaboration awards and the popular choice ones typically have a project that's selected. But the juried ones, if they don't feel like the project deserves an award, they don't have to give one.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I have another question. And also, it was stated that we could email Camilla for the previous award entries so that we could review that.
Yes. Right, Camilla?
I'm so sorry. What was the question?
Email you to see previous award winners.
Yes. So of course, if you want to see previous within your project category, they want an award, they won't have the framework in it because it's brand new. But yes, no, if you want to see something, just email me and I'll be happy to send you something from the past, most recent, few years back. And then also, if you have any problem with the Cadmium or platform or whatever, let me know too. I can help with that too.
And I can testify that Camilla has been very helpful to me.
Yes, she is.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we love
You're
her.
welcome.
She's always super helpful.
Camilla, what is your email?
Camilla at aiahonolulu.org. I can write it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
And then I believe it's also on the submission entry page. Like it's like a little blurb down at the bottom, right when you start to log in. I think I saw it there.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
All mine were answered.
And again,
Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't really have a chance to go through the application, but when is this going to be reviewed and is it going to be awarded? Is there a general timeline for that?
Yes. You have it handy, Steph?
So I believe, okay, hold on, I believe the jury day
The
is,
submissions are due on the
June.
27th of May, right?
Yes.
yes, and I believe the jurors have maybe a week or two to review the projects, right, Camilla? And I think, I'm
Sorry,
pretty sure
I-
the jury date is in June.
I thought I
I'm
had
looking at the
myself.
calendar too.
Yeah, so the juror date is what is it? I think June 18th or something like that. But about 2 weeks before then, we'll give access to the juror so they can start reviewing everything.
Question, is it interesting to submit some photographs of the work in progress as the project was built or not? Or is just the beginning and ending?
I believe if it helps to emphasize what your project has accomplished or what it's doing, or if it helps to tell the narrative, then by all means, yes. But if it doesn't, then maybe just a few photos would be okay. Because I believe we did have a project one year, I think it won a distinctive detail award, where they really focused on the process, because I believe that's what they were submitting their project for, was their process. So they had a lot of photos and diagrams about how they came to their end product, the process that they went through. So that's an example of how their photos help tell their narrative, project narrative.
Sorry, did I mute myself before when I talked about the juror process too and the dates?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. My computer froze, so it keeps freezing. I'm
Oh,
so
okay.
sorry.
I got it.
Okay, good. I was like, oh my
No,
God,
you're
it's
good.
freezing.
Okay. I guess if no one else has any questions, we can wrap up a little early. Again, Camilla is amazing and she's available for any questions anyone might have, as well as the rest of us here. But especially if it's any technical questions regarding submissions and Cadmium, Camilla is definitely the best person to ask on that. And yeah, so submissions are due on the 27th of May. So we're getting about a month away, a little bit more. So hope everyone is having a smooth process and hope everyone's enjoying the process. We really enjoy what we do here. So thanks for supporting the AIA and Design Excellence here in Hawaii.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Stefan.
I'll let
Bye.
it wrap. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.